I'm here in Spain to drive the Zeekr 7 GT, a car from a brand that you have probably never heard of. But then a few years ago, you hadn't heard of BYD either, had you? And now they are the biggest selling EV manufacturer in the world. They sold 50,000 cars in the UK last year alone. That's more than Mini, more than Cupra, more than Honda, more than Tesla. So could this brand, Zeekr, be the next big thing? Now, in its home country of China, this car is known as the Zeekr 007 GT. Presumably, Mr. Bond's lawyers had something to say about that because the 00 has been dropped here in Europe. It's just the 7 GT. Can we just take a moment to celebrate the fact that it's not another SUV, which makes me so happy. As you've no doubt spotted, it's an estate. And I think in a world of another SUV after another SUV after, another SUV, there is something really quite sexy and exciting about a sleek electric estate. And I really love estate cars. When I was a little girl, my dad had a Mark II Ford Cortina GT estate. We called it the Silver Bomb. My dad was a joiner. He didn't want to keep his tools in the back of a van, which I massively respected. And on that decision, my love of the estate car was born. Now, if you look at this and you think, ooh, there's a bit of a whiff of the Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo about that, you are not alone. And I think that's probably deliberate. You see, it was designed in Europe at Zeekr studio in Gothenburg in Sweden with a European driver in mind. And honestly, it gets a big yes from me. I do think it's a great looking car. I really like it from this angle. So we've just driven over to Ronda on country roads. There was some slow traffic. There were two in front of me. And it looked really nice. I was admiring the rear. It's got really nice kind of sculpted haunches, I think is the word, at the side. The full light bar across here is obligatory, I know, on EVs these days, but it looks great at night, as does the Zeekr badge, which is lit up at night. I like it less actually during the day because it looks like a sticker that I want to peel off, but it isn't. Anyway, round the side you can really see how sleek this thing is for maximum aero. Got lovely frameless doors, and it does a really nice trick. It comes with its own doorman. Yay! Open it up and there you go. Oh, it closes automatically too. It feels a little too leisurely for me. I might be a bit too impatient for that feature. Again, round at the front, nice low pointy nose. You've got the light bar that goes all the way around. You've also got this kind of sort of Skoda-esque tech deck piece as well. A couple of air curtains. I just think it's a really, really nice looking thing. But as always, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. When it comes to the competition, I guess it's cars like the Volkswagen ID.7 Tourer, the Audi A6 e-tron Avant, and the Mercedes CLA Shooting Brake. Now, it has faster charging speeds than all of those cars, and it's cheaper. It actually undercuts the Audi by almost £20,000. Yes, the Mercedes will go further, it has more range, but if when the pricing lands in the UK, it's anything like we expect it to be, I think the premium rivals really do need to watch out for this one. Now, Nikki has already done a walk-around video of this car, which is here on the YouTube channel, so we know quite a lot about it already. But other than a really brief drive in China, we haven't driven it. So that is what we are here for today. And let's kick off with reminding you about the numbers because they're pretty impressive. So performance-wise, you've got three different versions. You've got the Core and the Long Range. They've got 221 horsepower. 0 to 62 takes around 5.3 seconds. The all-wheel drive dual motor privilege, which is this car, comes with a time of 3.3 seconds and it has 646 horsepower. So let's return to the 3.3 seconds and put that into perspective for you. I'm going to take you back to my favourite decade, the 90s. You see, that is about as quick as a true 90s icon and one of the most celebrated supercars ever built, the McLaren F1. Except this car, the Zeekr, has 5 seats, a massive boot, somewhere to put your shopping and a dog. It's pretty wild, isn't it? I mean, just the speeds that we're getting out of cars today is quite insane. So putting those crazy numbers to one side, what I'm enjoying about driving this is that it feels exactly how you want a big electric estate to feel. It's very, very smooth, impressively so. It's quiet, of course, and it's just quite effortless to drive. And I think that, of course, is down to the engineering underneath. So the main reason it feels so composed comes from the suspension. Up front, it's using a double wishbone setup. This is helping keep the tyres in better control on the road. And it does feel pretty nice and grippy. It feels planted on the road and predictable. It's not really leaning much through the bends. At the rear, you've got a 5-link suspension system that's helping to absorb the bumps without upsetting the balance, although it has to be said the roads are really good here. And then there is an active air suspension that's always adjusting all the time, smoothing out rough surfaces. And it can also lower the ride height at motorway speeds, which should help with efficiency. I have, however, noticed that if you are a little lively on the accelerator when you're pulling away from a roundabout or taking a corner, it does feel a little bit fidgety at the back. Kind of makes me wonder how it might behave on rough roads. There's definitely a hint of oversteer going on there. But generally, I think the setup works together to make it comfortable and it feels nice and controlled and balanced. Now, we've driven the single motor core version in China, and that did feel fast enough. This, of course, though, is the all-wheel drive privilege, which has all that extra power, that 3.3 second 0 to 62 time. You can really feel the extra punch. But what I like is that you're not getting that overly aggressive hit of power that you get with some EVs. Don't get me wrong, it does shift. If you hit the accelerator like I'm doing now, oh, the power is there. But it's actually there right throughout the range. It feels nice and balanced. And as with the core, the brakes are great, very nice and smooth. There's also a good regen system. You've got to turn it on and off through the screen, which might frustrate some of you. And you can opt for a full one-pedal driving mode, which does bring it to a complete stop. It just feels that it takes a little bit longer than I'd like to get there. Now, you've got 4 different driving modes. I am not making much use of snow today. And there's a nice little thing called the magic button that they pop on the steering wheel here that you can program with sort of key shortcuts. So this has been set to comfort mode, and that little sound there tells you I'm gone into comfort mode, and then there back into sport. I prefer, probably predictably, sport mode. I find the steering a bit too light and overly assisted for me personally. It's probably great on the motorway, but we're not on the motorway today, and it's probably useful around town, but we're not around town today. So I've been keeping it in sport mode. The steering just tightens up, you get a bit more feel, and I really like it in that. The one thing I'd say that is a bit disappointing is there isn't a personal mode, so you can't play around to have it set up to exactly how you like it, which, to be honest, for a car like this, I am a little surprised by. But anyway, I'm happy with it in sport mode. When it comes to range and charging, the core rear-wheel drive has a 75 kilowatt-hour LFP battery with a claimed range of 322 miles. The long-range rear-wheel drive offers up to 406 miles from a rather massive 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack. And finally, there is the privilege with a range of 346 miles. On the drive, we were getting around 2.8 miles per kilowatt-hour, but we'll wait until we drive it for longer in the UK to pass judgment on efficiency. So the smaller of the 2 batteries is known as the golden battery. Sadly, it's not made of gold, but it is still quite special because it's the very first LFP battery that's been designed to work with an 800 volt architecture. So that means it can charge at really quick rates, up to 480 kilowatts. In fact, it doesn't really matter whether you go for the larger NMC battery or the smaller LFP battery, they both charge at the same rate. Now, I don't know about you, but something that I've come around to thinking recently is that I don't necessarily want a car with a massive range that I can drive for 5 hours non-stop. What I actually want is a car that I can drive and enjoy driving for 2 to 3 hours, and then I want to stop, and then I want to charge quickly. I strongly suspect that everything's going to start to shift and that we're going to become much more concerned about how quickly we can get energy into our batteries rather than how far those batteries will take us. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. While I'm here inside, as I said, Nikki's done the full deep dive of all this. It's just quite a nice place to be. It all feels well put together. The one thing I will say is that inevitably lots of stuff is in the screen. You are going to have to go into that. But there are shortcut buttons and you can set things up the way you want them. So yeah, nice place to be. If you want to know more, go check out Nikki's video. Back to those charging speeds for just a second. The smallest 75 kilowatt hour will charge from 10 to 80% in 13 minutes. The bigger
100 kilowatt hour will be 16 minutes. Zeekr has demonstrated, and we have seen it, that it can charge from 10 to 80% in under 11 minutes. Oh, and it can also charge at 22 kilowatts on an AC connection and has vehicle to load as standard, which we like.
Here in the back, it's all nicely put together. I don't love the black, but other colours are available. I actually do prefer a lighter interior. The seat, the driving position of the seat in front of me is set for Jonty behind the camera, who has got his shorts on, of course, and who is just shy of 6 foot. Is that the right thing to say, Jonty? Anyway, but look, there's loads of room. Honestly, you could have easily 6'2", 6'3" driver there and feel really comfortable. Let's give a shout out to the thing I haven't mentioned, the pano roof. It's so lovely. When you're driving along here and you've got the blue sky, it's just really nice, and it is available right across the range as standard. Isofix child seat points here on the outer seats, but there is a third in the passenger seat. Yes! That gets a big tick from me. I think it's really handy for larger families to have the option of being able to put an Isofix in the front seat as well. And then you've got all your usual that you'd expect. Charging ports down there and individual climate control. So yeah, it's a nice place to be. The one notable practicality weakness is boot space. At 456 litres, it trails both the Audi A6 e-tron Avant and the VW ID.7 Tourer, although it's virtually identical to the Mercedes CLA shooting brake. Fold the rear seats though, and that capacity expands to 1,390 litres, enough to beat the Mercedes and come surprisingly close to the Audi, although the VW remains the undisputed load-lugging champion. You do get a handy underfloor compartment for keeping your cables in though, which is probably just as well, because it does have a frunk, but it's compact. Although still more than you get in the Volkswagen, it's less useful than the ones in the Audi and the Mercedes. Right, what else to tell you? I've done the regen, I've done the steering. We know it's powerful, but not too much. I don't know, I guess for me, the question that I would always ask myself when I'm driving a GT is, would I do a really long journey in it? So, as I said, I'm close to Malaga, southern Spain. If they said to me now, oh, you've got to drive it back to the UK, how would I feel? I'd feel quite happy. I'd really like to do that. I think this would be a great car to do a long road trip in, particularly to try out that super fast charging, also to try out all the ADAS systems, because it's got a very sophisticated ADAS system. In China, it's licensed for hands-off the wheel driving, and that will be coming here in Europe, and when it gets to the UK eventually, we assume it will come then as well. So I'd really like to try all of that. So yeah, I would like to do a long journey in it. The other reason I'd like to do a long journey in it is because it's got this incredible head-up display that I just want to talk to you about now. Let me see if I can show you using my Meta glasses. John, do you pass me the glasses? Let's put these on because there's quite a lot of traffic now, so this might be quite good. So, hey Meta, take a video. Right, now if this is working, you should be seeing sort of 3 different areas on the screen in front of me projected out on the road. On the left-hand side, it's got the current speed limit, the speed I'm going, and you can see we're in roadwork, so it's showing a 3rd speed. And then in the middle, a bit like you'd have seen on Teslas on the main infotainment screen in a Tesla, you can see everything that's going on the road around you. The traffic, be that a motorcycle that went past earlier, you can see it all. And then on the right-hand side, you're basically getting the map here projected onto the screen with all the directions, when your next turn is, what your arrival time is. Now, when I got in the car this morning, I found that really distracting because it was really busy traffic around the hotel and we were on a motorway and it was just chock-a-block and there was so much coming at me. As I've been using it for longer, I'm really getting used to it. It's such a smart system. And yeah, what more can I say? This car is road trip ready. So, pricing, and of course it's way too soon to get confirmed pricing for the UK, but to give you a guide, the core rear-wheel drive retails at just under €46,000, around £40,000. The long-range rear-wheel drive, well, that comes in at about £44,500, and the Privilege, just under 50. Look, it's not cheap, but if you start looking at the spec and the tech on offer, it's actually not bad value. An Audi A6 e-tron Avant starts at £65,000. Even the VW ID.7 Tourer starts at £52,000. And look, I do know what you're thinking here. You're thinking, hang on, aren't we still waiting for Zeekr to actually arrive in the UK with the other models before we even get to see the 7GT? Which is true. But I do have it on good authority that this will be on sale in the UK by the start of 2027. And yes, I know that's a little later than we were initially expecting, but they will definitely be coming soon. There have been so many new Chinese brands arriving in Europe over the past few years that it's easy to feel a bit indifferent about another one, isn't it? And sure, Zeekr doesn't have the heritage of its main rivals. However, isn't that a little bit like dismissing digital cameras because they don't have the heritage of film? You know, Zeekr may only have been formed 5 years ago as a company, but I've been to China and I've seen the factories and I've seen them crash test the cars. And now after driving one for a few hours, I have to say that I'm really impressed by them. And I think if when they finally get to the UK, they can deliver on the performance and the range and the tech as they clearly are doing, but on the price as well, I think they really could be onto a winner. But as always, let us know what you think in the comments below. And while you're there, please subscribe because it does make us and the algorithm very happy. Bye. And now they are the world's biggest selling EV manufacturer. They sold 50,000 cars in the UK last year. That's more than... I was swallowed a fly! Ah! Ah! I never swallowed a fly! Ah! Oh! Oh, I can feel it moving! I can feel it moving, it's not dead yet. Oh my Lord. You're filming this. Oh, I can't spit it out, I swallowed it, Jonty.